Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for AMA number 31. 31. Before we head into the questions, this is the first one we ever do as head coach of Fnatic. I'm never gonna get tired of saying that. The reason the camera angle is a bit weird is because I wanted to show off my background a little bit. I don't know if you see it over there. We have a promo box from Pokemon. It's the Alolan Vulpix and Vulpix Poncho Pikachu promo box. This is quite rare. Over there we have my watches, my Coach of the Split award from 2016 summer. Over here we have some pictures. This is Sandbox. This is me in Sandbox. This is the Sword and Shield booster pack, not too hype. Some XY Evolution booster boxes as well, filled with cards. Here in the back, I don't know if you see it, but that's an Azir picture. And then you have Ari as well. It's made on glass. Let me show you guys this. So look at that. Oh. So this is the picture. Look at that. Gorgeous, no? Gorgeous. We get a lot of expensive things over there. I wanted to remind you guys of the YamatoCannon subreddit. We just hit 2K people. Yes! 2K people. Wonderful. Go ahead and post your stuff. This is where I will notice you. Another thing to add is the PO box. A lot of people ask for the PO box. It is down below. But please let me know if you send something, because otherwise I might not be in Berlin during that time when you send me stuff. But yeah. Let's jump into the damn questions. First question, that's not ref, asks, how you doing? Quite fantastic. The head coach of Fnatic. Boom. 5 Milo, what are your thoughts on the big roster swaps with Perks, Rekkles and new Fnatic mid? Do you think with G2 Rekkles LEC will become a one-team region? Well, the thing is, you know, G2 lose Perks. We don't know what kind of an impact that's going to have on the dynamic or how Rekkles will work in that dynamic. It's a new team for Rekkles. You know, in the end, two very strong players. You know, me being on Fnatic now, you know, on paper, the challenge is great, but I think in the end, it's all about how much we work and how hard we hustle. I think the end goal hasn't changed, regardless if we have Rekkles or not. I think Upset is still, you know, 100% aligned with what we want to accomplish, and we can easily imagine ourselves accomplish exactly the same things with Upset on the roster. So on my end, our goals haven't changed. We want to have a great impact at the World Championship. We're going to win it all. We're going to win the LEC. So one team region, no way. We have, you know, Fnatic already had a lot of reasons to want to be G2, and they've added another thing to the list, so we are more motivated than ever. So we are coming for them guns blazing, and all the pressure's on them. No worries for us at all. So this is now Melioda69 Sama's question. Why did you choose Upset as a new ADC, and what will make him good for this roster? Roaster. Why is everyone saying roaster, man? You're hungry. You want some barbecue. Upset, in terms of raw talent, is insane. It's really, really insane. I think it's crazy to me when people put Upset in the light like this guy just needs resources and he's just gonna eat resources. No, not at all, man. People are forgetting what Upset was the most known for back in some years ago. I think it was potentially 2018. I think it was 2018, yes. He was playing Ezreal, he was playing Vladimir, he was playing Ryze. Like, he was playing a lot of so-called weak side champions, and he was insane at them. His Ezreal was nuts, and that's not something that required resources. It was just something that inevitably took over games. So it got banned a lot. I think it's weird to put a player like Upset in any type of bucket, because in the end, I think he's always been a player that does what is necessary for the team to win. And that has taken shape very differently depending on the roster that he's in. And I am very excited to work with him because, you know, the last year with Origin, that was just an anomaly for a lot of those players. That doesn't put anyone in a bad light, in my opinion. That was a meta where he's playing Senna and the games aren't really in his hands too much. So all in all, I think he's a fantastic player. And this is, you know, the opportunity a player of his caliber that has been waiting for. And I know from speaking to him and knowing him, getting to know him, that he's more ready than ever. If you haven't, please leave a comment for the algorithm. The algorithm is our enemy, and the only way we defeat it is if we leave comments down below. It's very important. Let's defeat the algorithm. Let's defeat Jeff Bezos. It's very important to power. Kevlosaurus asks, were you involved in any of the decision making behind parting ways with Nemesis bringing Nisqy on Upset? If you did, what was it about Nemesis that you thought wouldn't gel with the way you intend to recreate the team that Nisqy might bring? So this is Kevlosaurus asking. Well, Nemesis, like pretty much by the time I was involved with the team, I think it was already like, you know, decided that this is not going to be, you know, the future home for Nemesis. I think on his end, he seems to, from what I've heard, like in the end, I don't know. I haven't interacted with Nemesis at all. On my end, it seems like there was a lot of disagreements in terms of how the players wanted to approach the game, and it was important for us in this off-season that we could find players that aligned with the idea of how we wanted to approach the game, with the core, which is Whipple, Selfmade, and Hilly-san. And this is what Nisqy Upset brings to the table. I think Nisqy is true and true a team player. His attitude is fantastic, and this is something that we just really wanted in our team. Someone that could add to the environment and be a problem solver. This is what I strive for in all players. I just want problem solvers instead of players that bring problems. I already spoke about Upset a great deal, and I think in the end you want a unit that acts like a fist. You want players that view things beyond their lane and see what kind of impact they can have on others in terms of unleashing them and unlocking them depending on the game state and the draft. And this is the place where we want to be, where we have 5 players that align on the same idea through and through and adjust to that idea in real time, instead of, oh, I'm picking my lane phase, I'm playing my lane phase, and that's it. You know, this is my champion. We want players that view the game in a very wide perspective, and this is the roster we have. Who do you feel would now be the face of Fnatic? I'm not sure. I think naturally, I think Whipple goes in that direction. I don't think Selfmade and Hilly are, you know, the type of people that draw the spotlight to them. I think Whipple is a very interesting character, and this seems to be what people truly enjoy. So I think we are edging in that direction. But, you know, I think it's up for grabs, for sure. 10042, which region will be the best in Season 11? So let me tell you this. 2 years I was in Europe, coaching in Europe. 2018, I coached in Europe. Europe went to the World Finals. 2019, I coached in Europe. Europe went to the World Finals. 2020, I do not coach in Europe. I coach in Korea. What happens? Korea wins Worlds. Let that sink in for a moment. And while it sinks in, smash that like button and subscribe. No, but in all seriousness, it's tough to say, you know. Damwon is not continuing with the same roster. T1 is making some upgrades and some changes. They snagged the whole coaching staff of Damwon, and now it's going to be, you know, so interesting to follow because Koma is in Damwon. And now Koma, former T1 coach, is fighting against Damwon. I mean, T1's coaching staff, which is the old Damwon coaching staff and so forth. And it is super interesting. And T1 have made some monster acquisitions in Korea, and they've sealed some more deals. They've got, you know, a stacked academy roster. Like, that academy roster is fucking crazy good. And all in all, I think things, you know, even though Damwon won Worlds, I'm not so comfortable saying right away, right off the bat, that it's gonna happen again. I think there is a lot of variables at play. I think Europe, from a you know, standpoint of you know, resources, I think Europe is always going to be the underdog against China and Korea, but that is not the most important aspect. I think you know, even though player base is bigger, money is bigger, whatever, I think culture, the culture of the teams is what matters the most. And even though you can compare region to region, it's still, you know, some teams are outliers in regions due to the culture they built within the team and the players they have on site. So it's weird for me to still put Damwon in the LCK basket, because even though, you know, Damwon competed against the LCK teams throughout the year, they are very, very different. They are just built different. They beat everyone very easily, no chance at all, and they were just ahead of the curve. The same thing can be said for Suning. You know, they were just something else. They annihilated the other higher seeds from the LPL, and they did it with ease, I would say. So can you put Suning in the same basket as the LPL? I think there's room to explore, and I think at the end of the day, if you just look at what's factual and tangible at this point in time, China still produces an insane amount of players. They have an insane amount of teams, and always, you know, after a region, you know, loses, they tend to come back even angrier. And that's the case for Europe. That's the case for the LPL. So I think, you know, on paper, still the LPL looks strong. Can Korea continue with this rampage, and can Europe improve? I think everything can happen, really. Everything can happen. And that's what's so exciting. I think you just need to find the ways of being an outlier. It's no longer tied to your region, it's tied to your team. And now, as a head coach, I'm starting to begin the conversation in my mind about how can we as a team be outliers? What are things that we can perfect that other teams haven't thought about? Because we are still, in comparison to traditional sports, League of Legends is still at its infancy, you know, in terms of how everything has been, you know, been min-maxed, so to speak, in terms of, you know, everything outside of the game, everything within the game. I still think there's a lot of room to be pioneers. And, you know, even with Vitality back in 2018, something that is so easy now, we were the only team that were fighting actively for mid-prio, and then using that mid-prio together with jungle to dive. And at the time, this was revolutionary. We were beating everyone left and right until people finally realized that, oh shit, we need to actually contest mid. And that's what happened when we ran into, you know, Caps in playoffs, and when he was on Fnatic. And it's all about being ahead of the curve. And then a roster, even with, on paper, maybe you have some weaker players, doesn't matter. On paper, doesn't matter shit. It's all about, you know, what you do culturally as a team. No questions, go fuck up G2 for us. Undesired Beast asks, how will you manage players' ego in terms of I want to be the carry? Well, it comes from, you know, how you explain it, you know. So if you're working with a team that has a lot of, you know, players that want to be the carry, you need to be able to explain the concept of, you know, what a team is, so to speak, and how every pillar holds up the roof that is your team. So the best example is, you know, the easiest example to reference to is Michael Jordan. You watched The Last Dance, and they were playing against the Pistons, and they were like, we're gonna smash freaking Michael Jordan rules, and we've got them. They rely on Michael Jordan to 1v9, right? And they were very cruel. They were fouling him, they were destroying him, trying to injure him. And in the end, with that, even a player like Michael Jordan realized that, you know, he needs to enable and play with his teammates to make himself stronger. It's all about that conversation, you know? Everyone wants to win, but perspectives change. You need to build bridges between these perspectives. It's like Frodo, right? Frodo was the person who carried the ring, but would he have gotten the job done without Sam, without Gandalf, you know, without all of these, cool side characters, so to speak? It's kind of fucked up to call Gandalf a side character, but you get what I mean. Would he be able to achieve the same thing without them? No, really not, you know? Like at one point when Frodo goes crazy, he's about to run it down because of the ring cursing him, right? So it's all about how you explain it, because we have this notion in our mind that the person who has all of the kills is the one, doing great things. But players are smarter than that. Most players at the highest level are smarter than that. So it's all about how you deliver that information. Because in the end, the players that say I want to be the carry, in a lot of cases just want to be winning. XV Hayo asks, how was your experience on Sandbox? How were you treated by Korean players and fans? I was received with a lot of respect. I think it came from the days where we with Vitality beat Genji, and I think that put me on the map in Korea. I think also Korea really enjoyed that we beat RNG back in the day, that it secured Samsung, I think, first seed out of the group back in 2016. So this put me on the map in Korea, and a lot of my content has been translated to Korean. So I think they were ready for my arrival in some sense. They knew of me. So I think that helped. Sandbox is gold in terms of organization, like the gold standard, really. So that was just amazing through and through. I was completely allowed to focus only on the game and my players. Everything else was taken care of. I lost a button on my suit, and our team manager, she took the jacket, rebuttoned it with golden buttons, man. Golden buttons. Absolutely crazy. As just an example of to what extremes Sandbox went to make sure that I am comfortable. And that was a massive blessing. And I already, as a person, I can get through tough conditions, no problem. Like I got to the point where I am like in the past, playing with a laptop on my thighs that I got from school. It was a MacBook that I bootcamped to Windows to play League of Legends. I played 20 FPS. I played with the keyboard on the MacBook. I had it on my thighs. I had burn marks on my thighs because I played with because I had to hide from my father. Because I was supposed to be asleep and I didn't have any time in the day. So it was all about, finding time to practice. So, I didn't care about my condition. I just wanted to find, I just wanted to move forward. So I am not picky at all. But to have all of those extra things that make things and makes life easier, that is just such a blessing, just such a relief. I could wake up, focus on the game, and I knew everything was cool. It was super, super nice. Darian SD, where do you get your dapper suits? So a lot of my suits are tailor-made in Korea. So I have this place called Hans Tailor. It's in Itaewon. So if you decide to go there, say Jacob Meddi sent you. He probably won't know the name because I've been there about 7 times, and every time he acts as if he remembers me, but I feel like he doesn't remember me. Ferg1234, do you love us? Who? Yes, I do. Greedy AD9, what do you think about LEC current state and team ranking? I think G2 Fnatic top 2, and who cares about anything else? Snooksy asks, how have you been enjoying Pokemon? I've been enjoying it quite a lot. Pokemon collecting is super, super addicting. It's unbelievably addicting. But I am hoping that my cards will increase in value. Rectech, did Rekkles leaving Fnatic have any influence on your decision feeling about joining the team? Not at all. I was talking a lot with Rekkles. We were doing normal games and we were in touch. Like, we have some history. We've talking a lot in the past, and we could have very honest conversations. And he told me that he's unsure about what the future is, and I appreciated that honesty. And on my end, joining Fnatic was all the same. I knew heading into the situation the possibilities, but for me, you know, I've mentioned it in past interviews. I've said Rekkles was the reason why I wanted to join, and it's still a reason why I want to join, because I want to beat him. I really, really want to beat him. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be super exciting for Upset too. I think that's gonna be a great motivation. I think you know, anyone in the right mind during an off season after the year that Rekkles had the previous year, especially at the World Championship, is going to look to him as you know, a very dangerous candidate for the AD carry position. So there is no problem there at all for Upset. But this is you know, a great opportunity for him to take a step ahead. You know, Upset is only 20 years old, man. I think he's turning 21 very soon, maybe. I think he's turning 21 very soon, maybe 16th December. Either way, happy birthday, Upset. This is gonna be quite the year, for sure. I'm super excited. Upset is gonna do good. I'm 100% set. After speaking to him and getting to know him, I'm fucking excited. Just 3 MI. Please tell me you will go to Worlds to win it and only to participate. I'm assuming not only to participate. No. The goal for Fnatic is to win everything. That's the goal for me. That's been the goal for me the entire life. I think if you don't work as if you want to win everything, you are not worthy of being in a position to compete. I don't believe in, oh, we're taking spring to, you know, we want to go to playoffs, and then we want to grow into summer, and then we want to be really good at Worlds. I don't believe in this. I think you need to aim super, super high, and you need to practice as if you aim super, super high. I think that's super, super important. And I think, sure, there are cases for some teams, like a G2, for example, to peak at the right time. For us to peak at the right time, that's going to be super, super important. Of course, you know, being first in regular split is not that important, but having good form for playoffs is super, super important. And that's why, you know, you shouldn't put too much weight into regular season standings. Pomada 2001, why didn't you pick up Woolite? It's funny how you guys abandoned Pookie style. You just abandoned Pookie style like that? You know, Pookie style is also AD carry. So jest. I think that's a very good place to end it. If you've reached the end of this video, bless you and bless your face. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Please leave your questions on the YamatoCannon subreddit. I wish you all the best. Bye bye and cheerios.